Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to cover Mythbusters, the real power of AI in financial services. So, myths are one of my favorite things to bust. I love a good trust but validate mentality. So, let's dive right in. It's only for large banks and institutions with huge budgets.
Well, first, so many myths, as you're saying, especially on the web. As we know, the discourse on social media is about creating a very polarized perspectives on technologies or approaches or otherwise. I think that especially our financial firms are very pragmatic and objective about making decisions. So remind me the first question again.
Is it only for large banks and big, huge budgets?
Absolutely not. And I think Red Hat, our strategy has been focused on allowing people to start much smaller with an open source based approach that you still have control over and a lot of ability to choose your infrastructure stacks or chips that have a lot of different cost profiles to be able to execute your AI strategy. So again, because AI allows you to, basically implement something that has all these controls around it. You can actually start with a much smaller experiment and scale that up over time, or scale it up as your firm and your returns on your investment scale up as well.
All right, jumping straight to myth 2. It is going to replace all humans.
I love that one. I choose to believe that. I do think many firms will, take the investment in AI as a way to say that we're able to reduce the people in our firm, but think about the risk of losing all the knowledge and talent that you have that understands your firm and your stance and your perspective. So what we see is many more firms, making a decision very much at the top, at the chief data and AI officer, to focus on how we can empower people to work more efficiently. So maybe you don't need to double in size of the number of people that you execute with, but if you're infusing AI into the various domains and functions of your firm, you're really empowering your people to work more efficiently and intentionally about what they're doing and reduce the toil that they have day to day to deal with the collaboration. And I think the things that people really don't like doing. So my only advice is make sure you are taking that empowerment yourself as an employee of a firm and use AI to deliver better results faster. Otherwise, you actually might get replaced.
It does make me laugh when I try to do something that's super mundane and AI hasn't created the opportunity to replace it. I'm like, could they focus on that? So jumping to the next one. This one just makes me laugh, and I'm sure you'll get a good chuckle. When people say AI is 100% accurate and completely eliminates all risks.
I'd say that there's an inflection point where, AI can be more accurate than a bunch of individuals that you might have hired out of college or been around, but are dealing with all sorts of life changes. So think about a more perspective of when is the AI solutions that you're building more accurate, hallucinating less than the people in the firm. As we've, I think, discussed in other forums as well, most things that a financial firm does has someone is making a statement or a solution or a perspective, and someone else is checking it. So maker, checker, champion, challenger, and in general that there's a lot of things that are made up by AI as well as perspectives from people too, and everything needs to be checked. And the great thing is AI, especially models that can check those solutions, they can check it against real knowledge of your firm and your policies much faster than individuals as well. So they go hand in hand. And you're really trying to reduce the accuracy overall. And I believe that AI can very quickly increase your accuracy rates of whatever you're providing to your customers or your internal employees in a more efficient way.
All right, number 4. We've got 2 left. This one, AI can't be trusted for regulatory compliance.
I think that usually comes from the idea that it's the results given may vary. So I think that most financial firms, they have to produce a lot of evidence of the controls that they put in place and the results that it gives, and make sure that unforeseen situations or use cases can't happen in what you're doing. So this comes down to every layer. So one of our customers that are now our customer with OpenShift AI, they had built their own AI stack using purely open source technologies, and they could not get that approved by the InfoSec team to get in production. And so that really kicked off our partnership, and they're now a large customer of ours, and they're rolling out their AI infrastructure globally and producing business results with that infrastructure too. As far as the individual models that they have, a lot of it comes down to making sure you have the right infrastructure and, I guess, observability and the ability to gather evidence of what the AI models are producing, to make sure that if something did happen, you can correct that issue rapidly. We've always had um, the ability to produce all sorts of different results. And I think regulators care more that you have the right controls in place to make sure that you can fix an issue when it happens, and that your overall accuracy or the safety is even safer than it was before.
All right. And our fifth one that we hear often, it's just a trend. It's not going to stay around. It's not essential in financial services, Josh. How would you respond to it's just a trend?
I think the hype is at an extreme state. And so we see this with every technology and every trend, is that the hype of what is possible spikes up to a really high level, and then we get into the trough of disillusionment, and then to where things realistically provide value when people understand all the things they have to do to be roll out given capabilities. So we're somewhere at the peak of the curve, or somewhere falling down the curve of what AI can do today, and people are really realizing the work that goes in to building AI solutions. But like I said in the beginning, financial firms and people in them in the technology and business side are very pragmatic and objective. And the smartest ones are starting with smaller experiments and ramping up to make sure that they're getting, basically laying a foundation and getting better and better to get on that more reasonable curve and ignore the hype over time.
Well, thank you for covering these 5 big myths that we hear and helping me bust them. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to having you on another session. This is a part of a series of AI in financial services, so please feel free to check out the other videos. We look forward to having you back, Josh, and we will catch you next time.